Good afternoon, dear Women for Heritage. Thank you for joining us from all corners of Europe and beyond on this very, very special day. Let me see, we are still getting, can tell you that we got 170 registrations. Currently we have 60 participants, but I'm sure the others will join us in the course of our moment of togetherness, I would say. And you know how we the women, we celebrate the International Women's Day by working. And so that's why I am expecting that, the others will join us. But I see that we have a very special guest. We have one honorary guest. We have Jimmy Jamar. We thought that it's not fair that we do not have at least one man for heritage, because we should not say that we discriminate, but we don't know. This is a moment for us. But Jimmy Jamar, who is the head of our Brussels office, he said, I will join you. I think, Jimmy, you want to hear, and you might even write a poem afterwards, or a little story about our moment together.
I'm very supportive, and I will write something about the meeting. And happy International Women's Day to all of you, and I'm delighted to be with you today.
So thank you. So Manon, we can start, I think.
Of course, please start.
Now, my dear colleagues and friends, this is the second time that we are gathering in this way. The first time was last year in the middle of the pandemic. I think there was a lockdown, another lockdown, not the first one, but the second lockdown. And we thought that this was the moment that we have to come together in order to sort of, for a moment of relief, sorority, and inspiration. And we were hoping that 1 year later, the pandemic will be behind us, and that we will have really a moment of joy to celebrate. We never thought that this meeting will gather in the circumstances that the Europe is living today, that, we are now facing the brutal and unlawful invasion of Ukraine by Russian army. And the war is again back in Europe. And so sort of in the face of such tragic developments, and I think you know that Europa Nostra has firmly condemned Russian invasion of Ukraine, and we have adopted a statement. I hope you have also received and read and disseminated that statement. But we also thought that should not be the reason why we should not come together, or perhaps it should be the reason, an additional reason, that we need to be together, and that we need to remind ourselves of the power of unity and somehow mutual support in these difficult times. And in particularly, we need all together to express all our solidarity for the many, not only to the women for heritage, but all the women in Ukraine that are facing together with all citizens, and of course all their husbands, fathers, sons in Ukraine. They are facing such a tragic time, and because of that, unfortunately, I don't think that we have any of them that were able to join and connect in this Zoom. But I hope you all agree that we will communicate to them on behalf of all of us, our movement, Women for Heritage movement, an expression of solidarity, moral support, and sort of commitment that we will help in any way we can. At the beginning, I said that we are delighted that while knowing that there are thousands of women who are part of our movement and are working on a daily basis in various ways for cultural heritage. We had 170 registered participants from all over Europe and beyond. And who are they? They are heritage leaders and policy makers at all levels of governance, including our special guests from the European Union. civil society change makers, members of the European Heritage Alliance, which Europa Nostra is proud to coordinate. We have female representatives of Europa Nostra member organizations, as well as Europa Nostra board and council members, young leaders and emerging professionals, including Europa Nostra young members, current and former European Heritage Youth Ambassadors and heritage students. And last but not least, we had heritage enthusiasts and supporters from across Europe. And that goes from Portugal to Poland, from Sweden to Cyprus, and even from across the globe, from Belize to India, and passing through Jordan and Bahrain, to name a few. So the whole world is gathered in this way. And this year's International Women's Day also coincides with the European Year of Youth. And that's why we thought that it was a good moment to dedicate this gathering to the intergenerational dialogue, conversation, and to sort of pay tribute to women of all generations. They're equally important, and they need each other to inspire each other. And as you might know, in recent years, Europa Nostra has been striving to mainstream sort of youth engagement across all our activities and improve that intergenerational exchange and knowledge transfer among heritage professionals from all ages. And in line with this ambition, so we have here, I liked my wonderful team as head, that we have sort of emerging and established, experienced professionals. So it's, you know, young and less young. And I like the way how you have sort of defined this, but I think in that they're all equally important. So this will be the moment that we can share, inspire, empower each other, because as we always say, together we are stronger. And you have seen in the program, so that the sort of experienced and established professionals will share their knowledge and expertise, but I'm sure that they will also get the energy from the younger female leaders, and they are the sort of the driving positive change and sort of helping us also to be creative, innovative, and to go forward. So to end this introductory moments, I want just to tell you that we really, sort of the motto of Europa Nostra is that we must join our forces and our voices. And also that should be the motto of this Women for Heritage Network without borders. And I think we have to do it in order to promote peace and our shared values of democracy and human rights, and also to sort of boost the innovative and creative capacity and sort of the long-term sustainability of our heritage movement. So we will start with sort of inspirational messages by emerging and experienced heritage leaders. Then we will tell you about our plans for this dynamic Women for Heritage Network. And then we will open the floor. We will ask people to raise the hand and sort of pass out the messages from their own experiences and sort of in their own countries and cities. And for the end, we will have the representatives of the European Commission and the European Parliament, and they're already with us now. Thank you, Catherine Manon. Thank you, Sabine Verheijen, European Parliament also being with us. And so we look forward to also at the end, you know, giving you the floor to see how we can move that forward also into the European Union leadership. But to start with, we have a very special guest. We have another Snow White. You know, Sneška means Snow White, but Snezhina in Bulgarian means Snow White as well. Snezhina Petrova, who is the very trusted partner, important member of the cabinet of Commissioner Mariya Gabriel. I suppose that Mariya Gabriel is attending many meetings today, also on the occasion of International Women's Day. She wanted to be with us, but she couldn't, and she asked Snezhina Petrova to convey her message to us. So Snezhina, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Dear Sneška, Honorable Member of European Parliament, Mrs. Verheyen, dear friends, on behalf of Commissioner Gabriel, I would like to thank you for the invitation to this important event dedicated to International Women's Day. Unfortunately, Commissioner Gabriel is not able to attend the event due to urgent commitments, but she asked me to convey to you her message. This event is an occasion to mark and celebrate the role of women in society. While we have come a long way, there is still more to be done, because knowledge, skills, and talent know no borders and gender. Women talent is crucial for Europe's sustainable and resilient future. And I would like to share with you that on today's International Women's Day, Commissioner Mariya Gabriel has announced a brand new social media campaign. She Leads is the name of campaign as part of the European Year of Youth. This new initiative puts young women in the spotlight by inviting them to share their personal experience, successes and challenges, their missions, and how Europe has supported them in their journey. And we are confident that the empowerment of women and girls is at the core of our European values and goals. In the field of culture, the Work Plan for Culture 2019-2022 and the Creative Europe program have considerably contributed to promote gender equality and make sure that equally women and men can fully participate and be empowered to create a more inclusive and sustainable world. Culture and the arts have a strong capacity of promoting gender equality and acknowledging gender diversity in their manifold creative expressions and critical approaches. And yet, women creators and artists are still facing inequalities. That is why we at the European Commission are supporting both and interesting projects through our Creative Europe program. Let me give some examples, like MUM, a mentoring program to encourage women entrepreneurship in the music industry. Key Change, this is a global network and movement working towards a total restructuring of the music industry to reach full gender equality. Or Center Stage Project, a European collaborative project for professional women artists and musicians. With the European Year of Youth, we also want to thank, honor, and support the generation that has sacrificed the most during the pandemic and to give them new confidence and perspective. Europe needs the vision, engagement, and participation of all young people, including girls and young women, to build a better future that is greener, more inclusive, and digital. With this year, Europe is striving to give young people more and better opportunities for the future. And this means we must address equality. Finally, I would like to congratulate Europa Nostra for marking this special day. This evening, we all join you to support and celebrate the Women for Heritage Network. By sharing the vast knowledge and unique expertise with the younger generations, experienced women heritage leaders are inspiring and upskilling the next generation of heritage change makers. But as we celebrate, let us also take a moment to think of all those brave women and of course men in Ukraine who have to fight against the Russian military invasion in their country and for the democratic values which are at the heart of the European project. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Snezhina, and through you, thank you to Commissioner Gabriel. What a wonderful initiative. Hashtag she leads. The Commissioner definitely leads. she really is leading on many, many fronts and standing for female leadership. So please convey her our sort of warmest greetings and highest appreciation. And we will definitely use the hashtag She Leads during this meeting and beyond. So let us go to the first inspirational message, and that will come from Madrid. A very dear colleague and friend, Araceli Pereda Alonso, president of Hispania Nostra and also board member of Europa Nostra. So one of those female leaders. She dedicated all her life, I think, to leading and in particularly leading when it comes to culture and cultural heritage. So it is my great pleasure to give the floor to Araceli Pereda Alonso.
Thank you, Sneška. Good afternoon, dear friends. Allow me, first of all, to congratulate Europa Nostra for this interesting initiative, Women for Heritage. It is a great honor for me to participate in this celebration with a few words from Spain, a country which has known all the cultures that have roamed around the Mediterranean Sea and which has crossed the oceans to share other cultures and spread around. A country with a cultural heritage that sprang from the origin of the humanity, as the Altamira caves remind us, to the present days, with great creators in all fields of culture. A reflection on cultural heritage on International Women's Day is a must, and so is recognizing women as the architects of history in their quest for freedom and equal rights. But we are aware that this is something we have to fight on every day of every year, every day of our lives. We realize women's participation in the conservation of cultural heritage has been limited up to the time of their incorporation to the university studies related to restoration. Even when this contribution has existed, it was hashed up or barely acknowledged. Let us remember two examples in Spain. In 1492, the humanist Antonio de Nebrija published the first Castilian or Spanish grammar, a breakthrough in modern European languages. His daughter, Francisca de Nebrija, took over her father's role as head of the chair of the rhetoric at the Alcalá de Henares University, becoming, at the beginning of the 16th century, one of the first female university professors in the world, together with her contemporary, Luisa de Medrano, who did likewise at the University of Salamanca. Neither is acknowledged the importance of Isabel de Braganza, second wife of Ferdinand VII, a queen who supported the initiative to stir together the works of art that had been treasured by the Spanish monarchs and hence to create a royal museum, now the Prado Museum. Heritage is a very powerful political and economic tool, and its management has significant consequences in women's strive for resources and equality. Currently, the trend leads toward an equal participation in the activities of care of the heritage, mainly of intangible cultural properties. International organizations highlight the importance of women in the upkeeping and transmission of this cultural heritage in order to guarantee its future continuities. However, it's just not care. It is essential to defend an equal presence of women in management bodies where heritage policies are formulated, where decisions are made, where the ones to select what are the heritage elements or how them are managed or which institutional measure can guarantee the transmission or survival for the future. There is no doubt that the number of professional women working in the field of cultural heritage is nowadays high. However, it is not proportionate to our representation in decision-making bodies, either at the national level or international organizations. Nevertheless, I believe that we can look ahead to the future with optimism. And we are pleased to remark the presence of women at the top of such important institutions as ICOMOS, UNESCO, Council of Europe, European Commissioner for Innovation, Research, Culture, Education, Youth, Secretary General of Europa Nostra, and also Hispania Nostra. But at the same time, as we vindicate the need for social equality and in all areas of the economy, society, and politics, we are convinced that the motto chosen by Hispania Nostra, heritage is everyone, must be our goal, and that we all, men and women, have the right and the duty to uphold it. We all cherish a tangible and intangible heritage that give us identity and help us to understand the identity of others. Heritage is an element for peace. It is a tool for understanding other people and different cultures. It is a facilitator of coexistence. Thus, I would like to end my speech with a very special reminder of support for the women of Ukraine and for all the brave citizens of this country who defend democracy and also their cultural heritage, today invaded by Russian military forces. These forces represent the identity of values of peace, respect for human rights, democracy, and the rule of law, and ideas to respect for our shared history. We regret the loss of life and share our sympathy with the citizens of Ukraine who today face anguish and hardship. Our solidarity with Ukraine and this struggle for democracy and freedom. Cheer to all the women, and congratulations from Hispania Nostra to Europa Nostra for this initiative, Women for Heritage. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias, Araceli. As usually, forceful, inspiring words, thoughtful, and I love this slogan, heritage is everyone. And I thought it was beautiful when you said facilitator of coexistence. That, hey, you know, and with your moving words that you were ending, it is so important more than ever with all what's happening. So we really count on you, on Hispania Nostra, and all the Women for Heritage from Spain, but also beyond, because I know that Hispania Nostra is also building the bridges with Latin America, Hispano-America, and that we have some ambitions that this network should continue to grow. Now, from Spain, we will go to Pravali Vangeti, Associate Project Officer at UNESCO World Heritage Center, who was also part of the pioneering first millésime, I would say, of the European Heritage Youth Ambassadors, so last year. And so also a leading young leader who is mobilizing stakeholders, heritage stakeholders for climate and heritage, and as such, she's part of the Climate Heritage Network Steering Committee. Pravali, though you normally is in Paris, I think you are in Greece, in Thessaloniki. So Pravali, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sneška. You humble me really with your words. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I hope so. So Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the women and men who are joining us from different parts of the world today. At the outset, I really want to thank Europa Nostra for continuing to give me these opportunities, to meet incredible women, to interact with them, and to work towards, heritage and sustainability. I have personally often taken great pride in the fact that all of us work in a sector that has seen not one, not two, but countless women pioneers, who've taken this path of sustainability and inclusiveness. I mean, look at the panel in front of us today, right? So today, I think I would like to take some time to just celebrate and bring to fore some of the women who've made that difference in my life. As you just said, Sneška, I came to Greece. I've been hopping across heritage for the past 1 week. And while I was here, I thought, what better way to start the conversation about strong women in culture than in the land of Melina Mercouri. I remember learning about her many years ago when I was studying, as an international cultural policy student, and they taught me that she pioneered the European capitals of culture. She did to bring back, the glory to Athenian heritage. And I remembered being so inspired. And then 2 days ago, our Greek colleagues would perhaps know this already, 6th of March was celebrated in her memory. So all across Greece, all the heritage sites and all the museums, they opened their doors to civil society in her memory. And in that moment, I realized that, her contributions to culture, to heritage, not just to her country, but to Europe and beyond, have been so very far-reaching. But perhaps moving on to, closer home to Paris, closer to our time, we have tremendous examples there as well. I'm sure everybody knows this. Audrey Azoulay, the current Director General of UNESCO, she's worked relentlessly towards, heritage protection, both in her role at UNESCO, but also as the former French Minister for Culture, right? And speaking about a generation of women who fostered and built younger generations, I feel obliged to share my own personal experience within the sector. When I joined UNESCO in 2019, and until very recently, the World Heritage Center was headed by a very formidable woman, Mechtel Rossler. I'm sure some of you know her. And I often joked with her that, She was
with us last year. She joined our Women for Heritage. So she's one of us.
I'm very, very sure, and I often joked with her and I said that she was a walking encyclopedia of World Heritage. No matter what country we were talking about, what region, what site, Mechtel would come up with personal anecdotes from the field, and she made sure that this knowledge had to be trickled down. I cannot tell you the number of times I would walk into my office and there would be a list of publications with a little handwritten note saying, this is something that is important for young people, you must read it. Or an email saying, this event is interesting, you should attend it. And as young professionals who are starting out in this, we cannot stress enough on the value that this brings to us. But speaking of champions for young people, I of course have to mention you, Sneška. I know you're not going to perhaps enjoy this too much, but I've had the privilege of working with you more closely over the last 1 year through the Heritage Ambassadors Program, through Climate Heritage Network. And I know that you have strived really to provide a real table, a real seat at the table to young people, to give them as much agency as any other experienced professional. And this has been my own personal experience, that every young professional who's walked into any one of your events, they're not there just as attendees. You've made sure that, that their voice is recognized and valued. And that is something that's, that stays with me every single day. And it's very clear to us that we have extraordinary women of great experience who strive to work towards heritage, particularly in Europe, but also beyond for so many years. And their mentorship cannot be stressed enough upon, but as much as I've learned from these senior experts, I have to say I've perhaps learned maybe even a little more from the young professionals that I meet every day. I consider myself exceptionally lucky in that I'm sort of in the middle of these two worlds. At UNESCO, I coordinate, along with its focal point, the World Heritage Education Program, which means that every single day I'm meeting young professionals, often women, who are pioneering the change. We have an alumni called Nasima from Morocco, who started a massive participatory campaign in the middle of the pandemic to use the stories of the 10 Medinas within the Maghreb region towards building peace in the region. How very relevant. Right, we have another alumna called Suzanne Verboek, who founded a massive intangible cultural heritage network in the Netherlands called Erfurtjong. Catherine, I see you're here. I don't know if you remember, Suzanne was with us last year during the webinar that we did to celebrate the European Year of Cultural Heritage and the forum that we did. At World Heritage Volunteers Initiative, we see women who are camp leaders, who are volunteers, who take it upon themselves to go interact with the community. Who else do we have here? We have Armenia here, of course, who's championed all the activities of climate heritage, youth initiatives. And now with Europa Nostra as the chair for CHN, we know that this Climate Heritage Youth Forum is going to take big steps towards bringing in the sustainability that we're talking about. And if I took to mentioning each of the women, young and old, who've inspired me, I think we would sit here all day. I'm not going to do that. But what I would like to, the one message I think I would like to leave all of us with is that of, having a focus on intergenerational capacity building. We often talk about capacity building, but we wonder, we assume that we have a lot to learn from the older generations, which is true. But I think we stand to gain just as much by listening to those who are emerging professionals within the field. And in my experience, I've seen that, what we often cast aside as standalone events, simple trainings are, they have transformational impact on young people. Their learning process never stops. And as everyone's been saying, this is a very special year indeed, because it's the European Year of Youth. It also marks 50 years of the World Heritage Convention, which took birth in 1972. So it is my hope that as we look towards the next 50 years, that this sustainable change that we need is led by young people, whether it's in terms of climate heritage solutions or heritage and conflict. I hope that the way forward is by building their capacities, by providing them the platform to actually put these capacities to use, and very lastly, to trust them with the reins. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pravali. It was beautiful to listen to you, because you made a true ode, I would say, to so many female leaders in the cultural heritage field, from Melina Mercouri to your generation, and many of them, you and the others who are leading the change. And we all know that the whole climate action movement, if there was no young generation, we would not be where we are now. So, and thank you for, in a sense, saying that we are on the right track, but because we are insisting on the value of intergenerational dialogue, both ways. It's not, and that is exactly what we are doing now. So we are going to stay in Greece. You said that Greece, the land of Melina Mercouri, but the Greece is also the land of Lydia Karras, another extraordinary champion of cultural heritage in Greece. Lydia Karras, who 50 years ago, together with her beloved husband, Costa Karras, founded Elliniki Etairia, and for 50 years together, the two of them, hand in hand, they created a whole heritage movement in Greece, and were very important pillars of the entire European movement. We have lost Costa. Last week, Lydia and we were together in Athens to say goodbye to our beloved Costa Karras. So all our sympathy, dear Lydia, and an immense thank you for, in spite of your grief that you are with us today. So Lydia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sneška, and really warm congratulations for organizing this event. And I thought it's important enough, so I didn't cancel my commitment, and I'm here with you. And though I'm a documentary filmmaker, I've been involved in work for heritage since the age of 23. And now this year, we created with Costa, we founded with Costa the Elliniki Etairia for Heritage and Environment, which by now has branches throughout the country. And we represent Europa Nostra in Greece. This year, we celebrate 50 years. And here are a few thoughts about this gathering today. Okay, the first time I really felt pain, cultural heritage, when I was about 11. And a really beautiful house with a magical garden which belonged to my godmother. And we all gathered and played and enjoyed every corner, hidden corner of this amazing house, was demolished. I experienced a real loss without being able to explain why. I had lost a treasure and lost it forever. This is the irreversible reality. Once a historic building or a neighborhood or a village or a landscape is lost, it is lost forever. However nice and well-designed what replaces it is, which usually it isn't, it will have lost its history, its soul. So when we speak of heritage, I think we should not only think of built heritage, but of nature as well. Nature made by God and shaped by human beings is so important for men, as not only it secures a healthy environment, but also it gives joy and peace to all generations. Now, of course, with the imminent disaster of climate change, it has become vital for our survival. Both nature and heritage are fundamental to our identity. Who are we? What is our past? Where are we going? A couple of years ago, when we had managed with mobilization of thousands of citizens in Athens to avert the demolition of some historic buildings near the Acropolis, my grandson, aged 6, told me, "You know, Grandma, these old houses whisper stories to me." How true. A beautiful town or neighborhood or historic village or unspoiled landscape enhance the quality of our life. They do that for everybody. It is a gift available to all for free. It is not like a lot of art available only to those that can pay, but available to all. It is a gift of past generations to us, and we should make sure we can pass it on. We in Europe are lucky to have a heritage that is so varied and so rich. Let us be proud of all our heritage, of all our European heritage, whether it is a castle in Germany or a tower in Scotland or traditional architecture in a Greek island or a Byzantine church in Serbia. And let us also help one another across borders. If something valuable is at risk in one country and its citizens ask for help, let us all rally round. Europa Nostra has been doing that for us in Greece. It has many times given the support we needed, helping us save monuments and save important heritage. Finally, rallying around heritage is a profoundly democratic act. It takes courage in many countries to criticize one's government. In less democratic countries, it may lead to all forms of punishment. We live once again, sadly, in a very troubled world. Climate crisis, viruses, now a most cruel war in the Ukraine. Democracy is under attack in many places. Citizens' alertness on heritage and environment is immensely valuable, not only for heritage, but also for the protection of democracy. We, the women of Europe, of all generations, can take the lead. A Europe which is not just for economists, but a Europe of culture and heritage, the best gift for our children. Our thoughts and solidarity are at this moment with the women of the Ukraine. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lydia, dearest Lydia, as usual, so poetic, so powerful. And as a filmmaker, you know the power of words and power of images and stories as well. And so many important messages, and basically what you have been doing for 50 years. And I have here this wonderful book that tells the story of 50 years of Elliniki Etairia. That fight for heritage is also for nature and for democracy, that all goes hand in hand. So, and also, you know, I wish that perhaps one of our next gathering of the Women in Heritage Network will not be via Zoom, but that we could walk the paths for culture that you have created throughout Greece, and even received a Europa Nostra European Union award. I think that would be a wonderful, you know, project for the future, where we can continue this intergenerational dialogue together by walking in beautiful nature and cultural landscape. So,
what a good idea, Snezhina.
I think
very good idea.
So I see that people will applaud that. So I see that Sabine, you have raised you agree with the idea. I think you agreed with. So with you have also been with Elliniki Etairia doing a lot together with Costa Karras for Southeast Europe. So from Greece, we are now going to go to Romania. Miruna Găman, PhD student in cultural studies, project manager at ARCHÉ Association in Bucharest, and she is recently joined our team as a trainee, as ESACH trainee of our team in Brussels. And we are delighted to give the floor to Miruna. Are you there, Miruna? Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much, Sneška, for giving me the word. It is quite humbling to be in the company of such amazing women, colleagues, friends, and professionals I admire, and I appreciate it very much. And it's even more humbling to speak after Lydia, because I remember having walked the Greek paths of culture back in 2019 at the Capacity Building Days event in Athens. Tonight, I would like to share my journey in the sector with you. And this journey has been equally shaped by my peers, my mentors, and my role models. And all these inspirational women cross generations and defy borders. As my titles say, I am currently approaching cultural heritage from 3 angles. I have this academic, scientific perspective of doing a PhD, assessing the social impact of cultural heritage in contemporary Romania. I have the dynamic grassroots point of view of doing projects at the ARCHÉ Association. And now I have the European level approach from my internship here at Europa Nostra alongside ESACH. But I have to say that I haven't always been like this. Actually, some time ago, not very long, I wanted to give up on cultural heritage completely. The sector's issues seemed overwhelming to me. And here I'm mentioning difficulties to get funding, the struggle of being relevant when there are so many pressing issues happening in the world, and the oftentimes closed off character that the sector can have. And because it seemed so little accessible, I was thinking I will never be good enough to become part of it, and to therefore bring my own contribution to society and bring value in the ways I was passionate about. But on the way though, I encountered some fabulous women and mentors that helped me break this vicious circle, and they showed me both incredible opportunities and the ways that my skills and drive would match to those specific opportunities. I got inspired by my colleagues at this association. I got inspired by the speakers and the peers I was meeting at events I was starting to participate to. And of course, I remembered the capacity building days from Athens very fondly, and also the 2021 Elucidaris Summer School in Poland. And these events were the ultimate confirmation for me that I belong in the sector. But all these achievements were built one on top of the other because of something that may look counterintuitive at first glance. And that is mastering the bravery of being vulnerable. Because in a field that deals with concepts such as sense of community, identity, and belonging, it is very easy to kind of merge with your work and take every step back way more personally. And it is obvious that such situations can be very detrimental to one's mental health or professional life. And this is why I decided that I will openly talk with my peers and my colleagues about all these struggles I was facing and these inspiring and fascinating people that, as I said, come from all branches of the sector and from all generations, and whose work I was looking up to. They shared their own struggles and their approaches that they had found to come out stronger. And they gave me a shoulder to cry on, access to know-how. They introduced me to a myriad of esteemed professionals and many, many more. And because they lifted me up and helped me become the emerging professional I am today, I take the most grateful bow I can possibly can in front of them. And because of them, I am more motivated than ever to do the best work I possibly can and give back to society. We take a look at the silver linings of things, the positive aspects, in order to gain hope and energy to drive us forward. But we also need to take a deep look at the reverse side of the medal and look the full truth in the eyes. Roll our sleeves, get the work done, and actually propel us ahead. And sometimes I think that the most powerful act of courage is being raw, open, and honest. And this very simple act has so much potential to make us feel less alone. And after all, isn't this one of the main powers of cultural heritage? Just to conclude, I have to say that, of course, these challenges seem completely insignificant these days, but perhaps the work that we are doing here is more important than ever, given also the incredible power that cultural heritage can play in fostering empathy, dialogue, and peace. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Miruna. We feel so much reinforced, re-energized also in our team to have you with us, but also, you know, bringing all the energy of the civil society in Romania. You have been fighting extraordinary, like Lydia said, not just for heritage, but for democracy and human rights. And now you are helping a lot, in particularly in your country, like in Poland, to help so many women and men from Ukraine that they are fleeing the war. So thank you for what you are doing, and that is a sort of bridge from you to Krakow. We go to Krakow. Agata, Wąsowska-Pawlik, director of International Cultural Center. For 30 years, we have been working proudly together with your center, Agata, and the founding president, Jacek Purchlach, who is now our vice president. And so we really wanted to have you to address this gathering. And in fact, through you, also the connection to our sisters from Ukraine, because you have been doing a lot. You have a network of colleagues in Ukraine and in the entire region of Central and Eastern Europe. And that's why we are also looking forward to opening the very first Europa Nostra Heritage Hub in Krakow together with you. So Agata, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sneška, very much. Thank you for inviting me to this important event. I must say that I was thinking, what shall I say in terms of women's role in the heritage sector in Poland? But believe me, during recent days, it was simply impossible for me. At the moment, in the light of this horrible attack of Russian Federation on Ukraine, we are faced with a very, very difficult time. Not, of course, that difficult as in Ukraine, but indeed more than 1 million people has already fled Ukraine. These are mostly women with their children. Men are fighting. So here in Poland, we have to find ways to help them to ease the trauma, to help them with apartments, with job, how to organize education for the children, how to make them a little bit comfortable or more comfortable than they are now. On the other hand, we know that many people still, of course, are in Ukraine. They are fighting. I have recently, in fact, yesterday, I had a contact with our colleagues in the National Museum of Art in Ukraine, who was our partner institution in organizing an exhibition on 20th century art of Ukraine, and she told me that she simply moved to the museum. Her feeling of responsibility makes, and also the fact that she lives on the other bank of the river, and it was simply dangerous for her to move every day, but to protect the cultural heritage that they have in their collection requires constant presence in the museum. So simply they are living with what they have now, and they are protecting it with the most powers. I know that in the city of Lviv, people are preparing to not to evacuate, but to protect cultural heritage. To for example, the windows, the stained glass windows, are being covered with another layer of wood from outside. The public statues are being covered with some kind of folias and materials to be protected from demolition, and that there is no way, nobody in the heritage sector, men, women, they don't think of evacuation. So it is for us a duty and for us an important challenge how to help them when the war is over. I hope it will be over soon, and I hope Ukraine will win. Ukraine will win because they are defending their own cultural heritage, their own rights for their own cultural heritage, for their history, for their art, for their own identity. So I'm sure that they will win, and what is our challenge is how to help them in the future in making cultural heritage to be available again for the audiences. How to make sure that that they can simply go on. And what is really what struck me in the beginning of this situation, that in fact we know very, very little about our neighbor. We know very, very little about another cultures. Ukraine is so close to Poland. And it was so important for us that we could organize this exhibition on Ukrainian art, because at least I can enlist some like 10 women artists that were active in the history of Ukrainian art. And my message is that we need to learn more and be more sensible, and not that our own culture heritage oriented. Culture heritage is always a matter of controversy. In fact, we keep saying that it's the platform for rehabilitation, for cohabitation, for peace, but in fact, very often it's not. This is the case. And the only way to overcome it is knowledge and learning and trying to understand the other. Just in the end, maybe I want to say that yes, women's power is very important, and I was very happy that last year I could organize an interview with the director of wonderful women's museum in Hittisau. I don't know if you ever heard of them. It's a women's museum in a very small village in Austria, who won the European Museum of the Year award last year, a special mention in this award. And I was under great impression how very small museum in the village of 1,000 inhabitants can have such an influence with the topic of the role of women in society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me just see. Yeah, I want the gallery view. Thank you so much, Agata. Thank you for conveying these very strong emotions. I mean, we feel it, but you are there so close. And you say that we don't know enough, but you know more. We know even less. And we are discovering now, because of this tragedy that is happening, we are now discovering how little we know. And I think this message that you have conveyed, that we need to build more bridges and to learn more from each other, because the whole picture of Europe, the whole European project is basically based on that shared culture, history, story that we have. And I'm so glad, therefore, that we have the European Commission and the Parliament represented so well today, because these are the very strong messages at the time that the European Union is in a very sort of accelerated tempo, becoming in puissance, or striving to become in puissance, but it has to be a puissance, a cultural, educational puissance above all. It is already, but perhaps not enough put at the center of our concerns. And what you have said, I think is something together with Krakow we are discussing, and I want to share with this network that we are looking into creating some kind of solidarity chain Krakow, Europa Nostra, with all of you to see how we can help in whatever way we can our colleagues from Ukraine. And your role of Krakow with more proximity and knowledge of that network will help us in order to do. And I'm sure that we can count on all of you, that when we create that solidarity chain, that perhaps some people will leave, we need to embrace them, help them with hospitality, but as you said, many are staying there, and we have to see how, with the help, obviously with the European Union, we are sure that European Union is going to play a very important role, and that we will work together. From Krakow, I also want to give the floor to a representative of one of, I said there is Europa Nostra, but there is a bigger European family, and that is the European Heritage Alliance. And we have there more than 50 European and international networks sort of joined forces 10 years ago in order to strengthen our voice. And Europeana is an extremely important player, important partner, and Georgia Evans is the community and partner engagement, and we need so much to communicate about all these forceful messages. So Georgia, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Sneška, for that introduction. And I can only echo my fellow speakers really in saying kind of what a pleasure it is to be here today. And I'm so inspired by the words that we've heard, and incredibly moved also by what we've just heard as well. It's really a privilege to be able to share my thoughts here today with such a fantastic group of women, and I would like to wish you all a very happy International Women's Day as well. So what we are here today is in an intergenerational dialogue. And what I really mainly want to use my time here today to reflect on is kind of the importance that I see that intergenerational dialogue has for the cultural heritage sector, and especially for the kind of emerging professional women who are part of that. And mainly I see that this intergenerational dialogue is a way to both affirmation and aspiration in emerging professionals in the sector. So I'm about 2 years into a career working in the cultural heritage sector, and I think if you had told me 2 years ago that on International Women's Day 2022 I would be speaking on a panel with some of the amazing women that I'm speaking on now, I think that I would have felt very shocked. And on actually having and receiving this invitation, I felt, as Miruna said, very humbled and really excited to speak. But what it also made me feel was very affirmed, not just in the kind of work that I'm doing, but also that the perspective of someone like myself who's quite new to working in the sector has a value and would be taken into consideration and listened to in a forum like this. I found really fantastic and exciting, and I think that that really shows the value of this event, of the Women for Heritage Network and intergenerational exchange as a whole for our sector, which is to empower those new to it, to raise their voices, to share their opinions, to share their thoughts, and to build confidence in what they have to say in, you know, a climate which maybe doesn't always encourage women to share their voices as well. So I think that kind of events like this, and also I want to think about, you know, programs like the European Heritage Ambassadors Programme are so important, as they really affirm the value of new voices in the sector. Pravali talked about recognising and valuing voices, and I think that's really true of something like this. Is really affirming for kind of new professionals. But I think intergenerational exchange is also as much about aspiration as affirmation. You know, so coming into contact with women kind of who are in leadership roles in the cultural heritage sector, hearing about the work they're doing, the kind of incredible work they're managing, and, you know, new approaches that they're pioneering, really gives new professionals, and I want to say especially new professional women in the sector, something to aspire to think we can really be in those roles as well. And I think intergenerational exchange and talking to women kind of who are experienced professionals also gives us the tools to know how to get there, because as we hear about the challenges that have been faced, the experience that have been had, the opportunities grasped, it gives really valuable insight into kind of how those new to the sector can also work as well. And I hope that kind of new professionals seeing women in leadership roles will kind of help to close that gulf that was identified by Araceli, which is that, you know, women are well represented in the cultural heritage sector, but that it's also really important to see them in leadership roles and in decision-making processes as well. So I think that kind of this opportunity to speak between generations, between people of different experiences, is really incredibly valuable and very valuable to women. And I think that this would be true of any sector. But what I think is really particularly relevant about it to cultural heritage is that I really see a part of our role as cultural heritage professionals is to look back at the past, to look to our shared histories, to look to our shared heritage, and uncover new stories about this heritage and this history, or develop tools and resources which help our audiences to discover them with new angles and perspectives. And to be specific on International Women's Day, I think that this involves telling the untold stories of women who have been marginalized, women who have faced enormous challenges, and as we've heard, are today facing enormous challenges, but are working in really inspiring ways and working towards equality. And indeed, we've heard some of these untold stories from my fellow speakers here today, which again was so inspiring. And I think that we can bring this kind of approach into the present as we explore the careers and achievements of women throughout our sector, both experienced and emerging. And as we join our voices together in intergenerational dialogue, it's a really fantastic exchange of perspectives. And ultimately, I hope that this will lead to fantastic innovation in the sector that can benefit everyone in the long term, and of course the cultural heritage that we work on. So thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a real pleasure to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgia. Listening to you, I said to myself, whoever tells me that, you know, heritage is just for all the people and the young generation is not interested in that, is now I will really have something to tell them. So it's really, it's uplifting to see, you know, how much energy is coming from the young female leaders participating in this conversation. So that energy, I mean, I'm definitely I did a very bad job as a moderator of this session, because it was too emotional, and all my sort of timing went a little bit out of control. So, but I think there were some such important messages that were passed, and also one thing I've forgotten to give the floor of the beginning, but I think this is not a bad moment to give the floor to Manon Richard, who is going to be in a way the spokeswoman of the wonderful female dream team of Europa Nostra, working in The Hague and in Brussels. And Manon Richard will tell you, you know, what do we want with this, and what are the ideas about the future of this Women for Heritage network. So Manon, where you are, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Sneška. And good evening to all of you from Brussels. First of all, a big thank you to everybody who has joined us today. We know it's a very difficult moment for Ukraine and for Europe as a whole, but I must say it's a bit heartwarming to see all of you mobilized virtually. I also want to thank the speakers who have accepted our invitation and shared with us their very inspiring visions. And now we have, I think, a lot of food for thought for our upcoming discussion. So after last year's event, we have gathered so much positive energy from our inspiring discussion that it really encouraged us to further maintain and build our Women for Heritage network without borders. And as an immediate follow-up, we have created a dedicated LinkedIn group. And we've been really pleased with our growing community over there. I will put the link in the chat just in case you have not joined the group yet. And now I'm extremely delighted to inform you that the Women for Heritage Network and its related activities are part of our new network project called European Cultural Heritage Agora, and co-funded by the Creative Europe program of the European Union. And with this additional support for at least the next 3 years, our aim is really to enhance even more the inclusiveness and diversity of our network, And we should also put a spotlight on youth, of course, and some specific regions across the globe. So our activities will include this annual gathering on International Women's Day, for the time being online, but hopefully, as Sneška mentioned, maybe we can meet physically in the next years, maybe in Greece on a path of culture. And each year, there will be an underlying theme to guide our discussion. So today is, of course, all about intergenerational exchanges on the occasion of the European Year of Youth, but also innovation, creativity. And in the next years, it will be devoted to other topical issues in the heritage field. But beyond this event, we're also committed to activate and engage our community throughout the year to empower female heritage professionals, students, and enthusiasts to facilitate their networking and peer learning. So concretely, for the time being, we're planning a series of interviews to be published online in written or video format. If you are interested in sharing your experience with us in an interview or have any other idea for our network, please let us know here in the chat or in the feedback form that you will get at the end of the event. Your suggestions are really helpful to us to keep building activities that are really tailored to your needs and aspirations. So thank you very much again, and wishing you fruitful exchanges now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manon, and to the entire team, mostly female, that organized this meeting. So you have seen there are some very concrete follow-ups that we want to do with this network. Now, another thing that out of the emotion I have forgotten at the beginning, I was supposed to ask you for a group photo. So we can still do that. I think most of you are still with us. So please, open your cameras and with the best smile, let's, just show our unity and our connection. So all of you who are still here, just open the cameras, and I think Manon or Vicky will make the pictures. Okay, done?
Yes, we got it. Thank you.
Now, as I said, we were also planning to have a half an hour of conversation. I still want to offer all of you who still can stay, I am at your disposal for as long as you want. But I want now to give the floor, because we have the representative of the European Commission and Sabine Verheyen, European Parliament. I want to give them the floor. They can also stay longer if they want, but I know how precious is their time. So I just want to be sure that you can, after these very inspiring, emotional exchanges, if we can, hear your message, your contribution. Both of you are extraordinary women for heritage. So let's start with the Commission. Catherine, you have been leading the task force of the European Year of Cultural Heritages 2018. What a journey we have done together, a journey that we ended dancing together in Milano. I'm sure that you remember that. Now you are in charge of the head of unit for the cultural policies at the Directorate General for Education and Culture. You're one of us, the right woman on the right place at the right time. Very difficult time. So you have had a lot on your shoulders. But so, Catherine, also, you are now working for the Commission that has a president, first woman president. The commissioner is a woman. So, there is a lot of women power there. So, Catherine, la parole est à toi.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much, Sneška. I'm absolutely delighted to be with you tonight. It's a great event. It's great that we take the time, just, you know, even if it's a few minutes, even if it's a 1 hour, to just acknowledge the strength of our network, the strength of our acting together, the strength of women in Europe, women for cultural heritage, but not only. And it's great to feel this sorority throughout the event and the network. And I was delighted to see that there was a lady in the chat writing from South America, and then I saw somebody, a lady also whose first name I don't remember, apologies for that, writing from Africa. Wonderful. Sneška, you are growing your network as usual in the most impressive manner. Yes, it was from Lesotho, the Kingdom of Lesotho, Southern Africa. So hello there. It's absolutely wonderful to be together today. What can I say? I mean, yes, indeed, you've highlighted, Sneška, that we now have a president who's a woman in the commission, and she has, you know, she really is pushing for women to be as you know, for more equality, basically, in decision making, in management, in the commission at all levels, and we are seeing a difference, and that's really great. We have been working also recently on gender issues and equality in culture, and I'm not now speaking of cultural heritage, I'm speaking of culture and the cultural and creative industries, I mean the whole spectrum. And unfortunately, despite, I mean, you may think that culture could be an area where, or a sector where, you know, I mean, some measures when it comes to equality are more advanced than in other sectors, and that's not the reality. I'm afraid that, especially in culture, in the cultural and creative industries, in particular, there is a vast lack of equality, lack of a divergence in salaries when it comes to female artists, female being represented in theaters, authors. So there is a lot that has to be done there, as surprisingly as it may seem. And we've started at the European level. We've started with, we had an expert group with ministries of culture to share experiences on what is being done, what can be improved. We are trying also to fund more and more projects through Creative Europe, which marry, you know, gender issue, gender equality, and culture, as Snezhina, who represented the commissioner, said at the beginning. Particularly in the field of music, we've got a couple of very interesting projects, and that's important because, you know, I've worked a little bit in the field of music a few years back, and it's an incredibly male-dominated sector. So it's important that we look for equality there. When it comes to cultural heritage, many women, that's very nice. You invited us to be personal, Sneška, and I'd like to be personal when mentioning the dream team we had for the European Year of Cultural Heritage, which was an exclusively female team, and we had a blast. We really, you know, I mean, we had a fantastic year, but also a fantastic collaboration between us. There was Dorota, there was Anne, there was Herminia, who's listening and participating today. There was Lorena, whom I'm seeing on the screen now. There was Sarah. So those were the women inside. And then we had the women outside, and there was you, Sneška. And you often said it was a dream team, but certainly it was. For me, the memory I have of the European year are really these, you know, amazing memories of working together, getting along well, and pushing in the same directions inside and also outside, with, you know, the colleagues we had in the parliament, in civil society, with new Sneška and other a few other very formidable ladies. And that's a fantastic memory, as much, you know, which is as strong for me as the results that we got on the ground. And then Sneška, also, I would like to say that, I mean, I've learned many things from you. I mean, you've got an amazing ability to 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 network and put those networks to good use, to move mountains, thanks to the connections you make and how you knit people together. But I also learned something from you when it comes to the intergenerational relations. I've seen you a lot during the European year, and I've seen that you address and spend as much time with a minister as you would with a trainee. You devote the same attention, the same passion, the same energy, and that's quite impressive. I mean, you make no difference between people, whatever their position or age or seniority, and that's again one of your many assets, and that's something that I really have learned from you. So those are my personal memories when it comes to heritage and the International Day of Women. But I want to finish by saying that unfortunately we are now seeing in Ukraine how both cultural heritage and values are being crushed, and that's absolutely horrendous. And as I'm participating in this meeting, I'm also keeping an eye on my outlook, because we are trying now to see what could we do. I have no announcement to make today, of course. This is far much premature, but we are, brainstorming following the declaration which was adopted yesterday by the ministers of culture in Angers on the need to do something for Ukraine and cultural heritage and culture in general. So that's of course our first. That will keep us busy, and I hope that we will in some ways be able to alleviate the suffering that is taking place and the destructions that are taking place as we speak, so far, so close to Europe and in Europe, so close to us and in Europe. So that's with what I want to finish, to really thank you. Looking forward to the next time we can meet physically. I hope this time it will be true. So the next meeting of the network will be, I hope, a physical one, when we can really share and strengthen our bonds further. So thank you so much, Sneška, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Catherine, for your wonderful, most generous words. Also, I think we have been learning from each other. That's what's the beauty. And I think we are, the same in a sense, in the way how we approach the world. And it's also the joy, I think, for the others to see whoever thinks that the people, the institution cannot work well with civil society. We have shown that it's simply not true. And that's basically I suppose, the secret of the success, also the year, and whatever we're going to do, perhaps also for Ukraine, is if the institutions and the civil society will be working together. So, and I know that the European Parliament will very much be supporting that approach. Sabine Verheyen, chair of the Culture and Education Committee of the European Parliament. Since recently, you also have the female president of your institution, the European Parliament. Sabine, you have been one of those, jointly we have been moving mountains on many fronts. And, heritage is in danger now, we see, because of wars, but also because of natural disasters. Only last week you have been visiting the Stolberg near your city, Aachen, that has been put on the list of our 7 most endangered because of the floods from last summer, devastated your part of Germany. So there are so many threats, but also such a strength in us coming together. So Sabine, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, dear Sneška, first of all, for organizing such a wonderful meeting and organizing such a network, which is so important to get strength to the movement, to empower and to strengthen our cultural heritage. Today, it's is a special day. We have the International Women's Day, and we celebrate it if we can celebrate in such a situation we are in with the Ukraine this day. But it was more a day to remind us that a lot is done, a lot is reached, but that not everything is reached yet, and that we still have to work on women's rights, on the position we as women should take. And so I'm very happy that you organize this network, the Women for Heritage, and that young women are active for our cultural heritage and are building up networks to raise our common understanding and fighting for our values and our democracy. As I said, it's on the one hand a day to celebrate, but on the other hand, it's also a day of misery, of destruction and war in Ukraine. And let's stand together with the brave women of Ukraine who suffer from the war and are fighting for their rights, for their life, for their democracy, for their values, for their identity. And you already said it, Sneška. Also, the war does not stop in front of our cultural heritage, and also not in Ukraine. So one museum in Ivánkiv is already destroyed, and with important works of the Ukrainian artist Mariya Primashenko. And I think it's unbelievable that these cruelties and these damages are done, and that they are also called to free someone in Russia. And I think that's nothing we can accept, and we should stand up to show very clear that we are fighting for our cultural heritage. Today, we had, as a celebration for the Women's Day, Oksana Zabushko, an author from Ukraine, in the parliament, and she gave a moving and really emotional speak to the parliament today. And it was, really impressing all of us who were there, what is going on there, and that we really have to take our role, and that we have to be strong and stand together to help the Ukrainian people, to help them to fight for their identity and for their heritage. But I'm also happy that so many of you and so many young women are with us today and are active for our common cultural heritage. We need the young women, we need young people to fight and to act for our heritage and bring it closer to the next generation. They come with a new innovative character, and equal chances should be there for women also in the cultural sector. The innovation young women can bring also not just to the cultural heritage, but also to the cultural sector is unbelievably strong. And we have to do more to support young women in this sector. And like we already heard also from the Commission, we are not at an end with this. We have programs to support women in the cultural sector. Also, the Cult Committee made a report on the situation of women in the cultural and creative industries. And we also have other programs, not just the culture, the Creative Europe program, to support young women in this cultural sector, to be self-employed, to set up their own companies in the cultural and creative sectors. And that can be done also by programs like the European Social Fund or the Regional Development Fund. And that is something where we also worked on together with the ITRE committee and also the employment committee, that we have to raise awareness to the cultural and creative sector and the role women can play in the sector, also with all the other programs we have to foster and to strengthen our economy, because cultural heritage is important for our identity. It's reflecting our values, but it can also be a very important economical factor. And that's the reason why I always say with our economical programs, we should also give support to the cultural and creative sectors, to the cultural and creative industries, and especially to women in this sector. We have still not an equal pay. We have still not equal chances. If you take a look, who are the artists in the big galleries who are famous in the end? That are mainly not the women, mainly that are the men. And we have to do something, because I think that women has, at a minimum, the same talent and the same chances they should have like all the others do. And there we have to set up new programs, new ideas, and to raise awareness that we have to do more also in this sector. And especially for the next generation and for the young women, we have to do a lot. And that is what we want to do also in the Culture Committee of the European Parliament. We need the cooperation of all generations. And that is why I love this event today, because it brings together young women, strong women, but also experienced elderly women who can give an input, who can tell stories from the past, but they must be transformed to stories of the future. And that can just be done in cooperation with our next generation, with the young ladies, with the young women that are in your network. This year, we have also the European Year of Youth. And we have to bring our cultural heritage closer to the young generation. We as Parliament asked to link the Discover EU program strongly to the capitals of culture, to the capitals of youth, but also the program should be linked to our cultural heritage sites, to the sites that got the cultural heritage who are places of our cultural heritage. And I think if we can combine all our programs with our heritage, with our values, and with the innovation and transformation towards the next generation, it can be a big success in the interest of our common European idea to be unified in diversity. And let me finish with the words we already heard at the beginning. And I want to quote Araceli Pereda Alonso. She said, "Let us be facilitators of coexistence." And this wonderful world, I think, describes best what must be our aim when we protect and we work for our cultural heritage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sabina. Oh gosh, I don't, the light, I have just a switch on. There is no sun anymore, so I need some light. So thank you so much, Sabina. There were so many messages that you have passed to us. And, you know, starting from Ukraine, when you said, you know, they're fighting for their heritage, their identity, which is also our heritage, because, you know, organization Europa Nostra, why we are saying Europa Nostra, because it's also our, and that means it's our shared responsibility as well. And that is something, but I also, you know, because coming from the Balkans, 30 years ago, we have been war torn. We never thought that it would happen, and it happened. But it's important that we say that it's not one culture against the other. And we know how many Russian citizens, how many Russian people and Russian women and from the also cultural and heritage world are appalled with what is somebody doing in their name. And I know that that's how I felt also coming from Serbia. So I think it's important that we clearly say that it's rather the conflict between two concepts. It is the power of democracy, of rule of law, versus the power of force and the power of the dictatorships. And that is what is the real, the sort of fight and that fight is a fight that we all have to do. So forgive me if I just, you know, I felt that I wanted to sort of react to that an important point. And also you have stressed so much that this linkages with the wider cultural world. And I think it's important also that for us, it's not just, you know, we, the heritage world, separated from the others. And I think this link with the wider cultural world, as you know, with the cultural deal also for Europe that we are doing, I think that's something that we have to build these bridges and this sort of ongoing fight for an equality and sort of using heritage as our way to empower coexistence, to bring together the coexistence is so important. So Sabine, thank you for being with us. Catherine, all of you, I'm staying. Whoever wants to remain with us, I would like to continue, who still have the time and who has not yet spoken. But there are important rendezvous that we will organize this year. One is in Krakow. Agata is going to host us in the International Cultural Center on the 9th of May, the Europe Day. And it's going to be, some of us at least will be gathered in Krakow. Hopefully by then there will be peace close to in Ukraine, but we will be there. And then write down that there will be the European Heritage Summit that we shall organize in Prague, again, in the center, in the heart of Europe, 25, 26, 27 of September. On the 26th, we will all be together to celebrate the champions, the laureates of our award. And always there are plenty of women who are getting an award. I see in front of me Slavica Vujovic, one of those from Serbia, who got a Grand Prix in Berlin in 2018. But I see many other, Erminia, of course, Shakitano, who has been one of the leading ladies from the European Cultural Heritage Year and continues to be now in the cabinet of the Italian Minister of Culture. So many of you, I hope we will be together, and we will have plenty of occasions to exchange. So for those of you who can stay, perhaps Lorena, perhaps you just want to, I think you have been following the chat. I see that there were a lot of exchanges in the chat. Perhaps you can just tell us what was going in the chat, and then please put up your hands. I'm sure Erminia, perhaps I can afterwards give the floor to you, and any other of you, perhaps from other continents. We have heard that we have people from Latin America and from Africa. We would like to see your faces and hear your voices as well. Lorena.
Yeah, thank you, Sneška. So I was given the task to sort of summarize the discussion, but I think I won't attempt to do it so, because we have, spoken about so many things that it will be extremely difficult, and I don't want to take a lot of the speaking time of others. But I will just like to share a couple of issues that have been mentioned both in the chat, but also from our invited special speakers. And, as a sort of also to maybe lead the discussion that will follow in this direction. I think we have spoken a lot about gender equality and the fact that we have come a long way, as Snezhina said in the very beginning, on behalf of the commissioner, but a lot still needs to be done. Of course, we need to increase the number of women in power and policy making. We always need to keep in mind that the pay gap still exists. And despite that, of course, talent and skills and knowledge have no gender. We also heard about the importance of historic representation of women that maybe have played an important role, and maybe we still haven't heard their voices. So maybe an idea also for our future work to put in the spotlight the achievements of the women of the past and women also of today, as a way to create an innovative storytelling as well. Then also very important how cultural heritage can be a political tool as well for women to search for equality as a vector of intergenerational dialogue itself, because we pass it among generations, and even as a democratic act, as Lydia mentioned. And a couple of points only on the importance of intergenerational dialogue and maybe the work of this network and what can this network bring. We've heard about the importance of equal footage, so youth voices being valued as well, and sort of give the same attention to young emerging professionals and to more experienced ones. the importance of role models and mentors, from historical figures like Melina Mercury to today's, today's generations. And also as a personal level, the importance of, having a shoulder, as Miruna said, and the bravery of being vulnerable. I think this is also from my personal experience. I've always had the chance to work with women, and I have valued very much the fact that, we can also share at a personal level and get hope and energy. So not only access to network, but also personal support. And yes, finally, the importance of learning from each other, the importance of sharing knowledge, transformational impact of training, and building capacities, but also trust the younger generations with their veins, as Pravali said. So I hope this network will give us a platform to do this. You have mentioned that this network is a network for inspiration, celebration, empowerment, and mutual support, but also for solidarity and mutual support towards the women that cannot be with us, that are less fortunate, and that maybe are hiding or fighting to defend democracy, and especially Ukrainian refugees who are mostly women. So our thoughts are, of course, with them. And thank you very much to all of you for your inspiring and enriching words. Thank you, Snezhina. Over back to you.
Thank you. Muchas gracias, Lorena. So, one of those who are giving new energy and dynamism in the work of Europa Nostra, and we are very proud that we, part of our team, have somebody who comes from Mexico. So we mentioned that we have some other continents, and that we don't want to be a fortress Europe, but rather to build as many bridges. And I want just to see whether, before giving the floor to Armenia, do we still have with us Maneo from Lesotho? Are you there, Maneo? Because I see but perhaps you're not. I see the box, Maneo Ralebizo. Are you there?
I'm here.
Yes, we can hear you now. We can't see you, but I don't know whether you can switch on the camera. But in any case, it's great to have somebody from the southern part of Africa, and I want to give you the floor.
Well, thank you to the speakers today for this session, and to the organizers. I think what has been shared today resonates with a lot of what we are doing out here in our different communities. So it builds on the knowledge that we are unearthing, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us, and we shall keep in touch. Because also it's one of the things that the European Union want to very much develop, a much stronger collaboration with Africa. And we will very much advocate the need that also cultural heritage collaboration between Europe and Africa should be enhanced. So we will work. Now we can see you now. Very good. Hello, Maneo. Good to see your face in addition to seeing your voice. Now, Armenia, you must be very happy, I think, when you see this women power. I think we probably have been together when we coined this expression, Women for Heritage, during the European Year of Cultural Heritage, and you continue to do it in Italy. You have been an important pillar of the G20 cultural and heritage pillar during the Italian presidency, and I think you are now preparing something fascinating for the Mediterranean region. So, Armenia, a te, la parola è a te.
Grazie, thanks, Snezhina. And I really feel a bit emotional because, as you said, really, this is something that it belongs to our common story. But I also just I want to pay tribute with all the women that I saw today in this meeting. We are all women which normally we see ourselves in action because we are all used to solve problems. And the fact that, so it's all people who really, and I'm feeling that especially in in these hard times in Europe, whenever there is a huge problem and it's almost considered impossible to solve it, here comes a woman and finds at least a way or a new way to approach the problem. So I think this type of meetings are important for us as women, because sometimes, yes, we are so busy in solving problems, in doing things, in addressing complex issues, that we need sometimes to meet and just to remind us what binds us in terms of the spirit and the principles and values that we all share, and guide us in our everyday action. We are all really people who just do things. And this meeting today has energized me. Yes, I'm now working at the new ministerial conference when we want to dedicate some attention to culture in the Euro-Mediterranean region. We know how is important this region for Europe, and especially now in these hard times, we think that's very important to keep and to work, especially on culture, as a way to keep the dialogue open among the different cultures. And this meeting also reminded me that in difficult times, even we are living hard and difficult times, we are not alone. We are a network, and thanks for thinking of how to keep this network alive and active, and remind us that we can always count on each other during our work and also our general life. Thanks again, Snezhina, and you all, Lorena, and all the beautiful women that I saw today.
Grazie, Erminia, and we continue. There is a lot of task ahead of us. Who would like to take the floor? Can I hear someone from the Balkans? I see that Slavica, you are there. You are from Novi Sad, one of the 3 European capital of culture this year. So could we hear your message?
Hello, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be in such a good event, and important because we are all together much better. We feel much better when we are together. Yes, Novi Sad is capital, European capital, and we feel it because there are a lot of events. At the beginning it is less maybe, then it will be more and more. But the atmosphere is different. It was a great opening, and really people are proud because it is happening in our age, in our time. So I think that it will be very, very important. But a lot of women are in organization, in also the exhibitions, and there is influence of women. it can be, it is for sure. So I think that women are more and more included in managing and also taking care of cultural heritage in Serbia also. So soon we will need our colleagues because we need each other. It's not so good to be more women, much more than men. So I hope that it will be balanced, but it is clear that it is our field, because we are taking care of our families, about our spirit is more close to heritage maybe, and it is more and more visible. So my message is that women are very, very important, and the time now the time is our time is coming, and not only in field of cultural heritage, but also in field of making decisions. And I think that there is a lot of space in field of managing, and I think that we have more sensibility to give dialogue between in society, and in importance of heritage in society. So I feel that it is still now, but it will be more and more in near future. So brave.
Thank you.
women.
Thank you, Slavice, and good luck, because I know how many challenges, not to say how many threats, even in peacetime, there are on cultural heritage, with the wrong decisions, wrong, real estate developments who search for short-term profit and not for the longer-term sustainability of our living environment. So I know how much challenges you have in Novi Sad, in Serbia, in the region.
Yes.
But but we are there. That's why, again, we need that sort of heritage without borders movement, as Lydia Karras mentioned, that we have helped our colleagues in Greece or in Spain. In many other countries, we have done that. I see that we have several persons from Turkey, including our new somebody who will be with us, Kala Parlak, who will be with us in Brussels office. Çalla, I think that's the yes, that's the better pronunciation, who joined our team from Turkey, but I've seen Burçin Altinsay and some others. So please, Burçin, perhaps you would like to say the floor. You have been for a long time president of Europa Nostra Turkey. So thank you for being with us. I think you are in Istanbul.
Yes, I am in Istanbul. It was a pleasure to be with you again this year. I'm very happy to be here. Unfortunately, a women's walk, a night walk, which is made every year in Istanbul, is once again stopped, or it was not allowed. So that's a little bit frustrating for us over here. But anyhow, this happens. So we are also in a strange place. Also geographically, we are close to Ukraine as well, and we are also quite saddened by the events there. But I would rather have Çağla speak for this time, as she's younger representative of the heritage world, and as she might want to say a few things. So I would like to give
thank you.
With best wishes and all my love to all of you. Hope to see you soon again somewhere, even in Zoom. It's quite pleasant to be together. Okay, I'd like to
thank you, Burçin. Thank you. Çağla, whom I will have the pleasure of meeting in real life tomorrow in Brussels. So, Çağla.
Well, yeah, I mean, today is just my, second day here in the Europa Nostra office in Brussels. So I'm very happy to be here, and I already feel empowered with your presence and with this, conference, and with this gathering, let's say, online gathering. So, yeah, I mean, it's very important initiative, I think. So, I mean, as I also identify myself as a feminist here, so it's very important to, empower one another, I think, as women in the heritage sector. As, I mean, for example, in Turkey, we are, a much larger group than men in Turkey as the women in the heritage sector. But, well, decision makers are mostly, men. So, I mean, this is one of the things that we have to, deal with at the local level, I think. So yeah, I'm also, aware of the fact that the march in Istanbul was banned, and several, our friends, women were, suffered from police violence there. So yeah, quite sad for this, and thank you.
Thank you, Chala. As we said, it's empowering each other. So we are grateful for your contribution for our work. So for the next 3 months, you will be with us, but you will stay with us, I hope, for a long time. We have spoken a lot about endangered heritage in all sorts of ways. It's why I see Vanessa, who is with us here. I think Vanessa works for the Cultural Emergency Response Fund based in Amsterdam. Very, again, female-led initiative. And I just want to invite you, Vanessa, to say a few words.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much to Europa Nostra for this event. It has been very emotional for me also to hear all these strong women working for heritage. And vulnerability is something that is really close to me. So I really empathize with that feeling because we work in crisis situations. So the cultural emergency response gives support to cultural heritage damaged by disasters or by conflict. So I want to also take this opportunity to say that we are open to receive any kind of request for support from Ukrainian cultural heritage practitioners or institutions. And we can support with financial aid, but also with technical assistance as well. And the fund is concentrated on first aid. So all the response to evacuate collections or to protect buildings or to protect any artifact. So yeah, we are happy to do whatever we can to support Ukraine at this moment. And thank you for this wonderful event.
Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you for your very important Cultural Emergency Response Fund. I know that our team already had a meeting this afternoon with you, and that with the help of Agata and our friends in Krakow, we will try to get as much information as possible. And sort of, we already thank you for whatever financial support you will be able to give. I see, Agata, that you have to leave us. So thank you. And we wish you a lot of courage, you and your team. So we remain very closely together. I see also, we have been talking about, young professionals, but I see that there is a professor of architecture who has been training a lot of young people, and Eleni Maestru, who was also the dean of the architectural faculty at the Technical University in Athens, is with us. So Eleni, thank you for being with us. You might also have a great pleasure when you see all your students also developing and also staying in the and contributing to the field of cultural heritage. What's your message to the remaining group here? But we are recording everything, so also the others will hear these messages.
Thank you, Sneška, and thank you for all this meeting today. I believe very much. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe very much to the abilities and to the force of women. I believe very much to all of them. And most students of architecture now in Greece are women, and they are very strong, I must say. They are very strong. And I must also say that I am very, very sorry about what happens to Ukraine with, as we see, all the women and young children to be out of their country. I think that this is the worst thing that we live today, this war. And I wish that it will finish the soonest possible. Women are strong, but it is not necessary to leave all this with the war. So this is my message for today.
Thank you, Eleni. There is also Joanna is from Greece. I met her also recently in Athens, and she said that she wanted also to, Joanna Mikru, to become stronger involved. And, you know, Joanna, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you. I'm Joanna. I just thank you, Sneška, for the opportunity to share something with you. I just want to say that it's so important to have good role models. And for me, that's a reality. It's my mother, it's Europa Nostra, Sneška, and of course, Elliniki Etairia with Lydia, Karras, and Mrs. Maestro. That's the most important thing. And thank you for this chance.
Thank you, Joanna, and we need you. We need you, and fortunately, Greece is also present in our team in Europa Nostra. We have Vicky Macridou, we have Ioana Mikru and Vicky Macridou, who is in charge of our social media and many other things. So Vicky, I'm sure you will be tweeting a lot, and that you know that that's the person behind, but just Vicky, the floor is yours, and I'm sure you will use the She Leads, the hashtag She Leads very much. So Vicky.
Hello, everybody. Hello to all the women in the heritage field, young or old, that are with us today. I'm very happy to be part of this meeting, even behind the scenes, and trying to pass all the messages that you are all saying on social media. It's also an opportunity to highlight what we have to say. It's a great opportunity. I think that we can grow this network together, and we have the LinkedIn group where we can exchange, and we would really value your contribution there so we can grow this network and do more activities, have everybody, so that everybody has their saying in this network, and together we build it further. Thank you very much, Sneška.
Thank you. Thank you, Vicky. You know, and we have been mentioning a lot of sort of role models and women role models that we all have. But I just feel that I want to share with you that among the many women role models, also had a lot of men role model. And there is one man who is my spiritual father, and that is Costa Karras, whom we said farewell last week in Athens. And so I also want to pay tribute to him and to his memory. And I think he has also inspired many of us, me certainly, and many other people in Greece and in Europa Nostra for 50 years. So I just want also to keep his memory during this. I think he will be very pleased also to feel this energy, and also with the presence, very important contribution of his Lydia Karras, who continues together with us the important action that he has undertaken. Who else would like to take the floor? Who has not yet spoken? Vanessa has spoken. Sarah, I see Sarah and Audrey from our team.
Hello everyone. Yes, I'm joined my colleagues, so behind the scenes, but it was really a pleasure. So many inspiring like speeches, but also food for thought until next year and next event and next gathering all together. So now I hope you will all enjoy the LinkedIn group and all the ways that in order to stay in touch and keep it through. So not only the 8th of March, but every day, hopefully. And so I would like to thank you all, and also my colleagues and Sneška, obviously.
Very important message, Sarah, not just on the 8th of March. We have to be together every day of the year. Sarah is in charge of our 7 Most Endangered program, and especially, you know, in current times, very more and more demanding activity. Audrey is in charge of, together with Elena, but I think Elena was there, but I think she had to leave.
Yeah.
Yankee, Audrey from Ireland, and she is in charge of the awards.
Yeah. So I think, well, what can I add after so many interesting points already made? But yeah, just to say that I think heritage is a really wonderful sector to get home that message about female leadership, because well, we have so many great role models as we've seen today. So I think that you know, it also has a really strong message for everybody working in other sectors as well. It's something very important. And I think something that we are looking all the time with the awards for these best practice examples. And I think what we are noticing year on year is that we have more and more women representatives from the award winners. Sometimes, you know, on the stage, it is almost all women who are standing up there, which is really inspiring. And I think it's really important to see that representation, because of course, when you see someone up there that looks like you know that you can do it yourself. So yeah, I hope everyone will continue to promote our awards as well for this very reason, because I think it actually has a very important part to play. So yes. Happy International Women's Day, everyone. It was really nice to see you all. And to actually, I saw some winners connected, and I could chat with them a little bit in the chat. It was really nice as well to reconnect and to have that network and to have that support. It's really nice. So, thank you everyone for joining.
Great, Audrey. And you will also in the coming weeks be sort of gathering information, contacts, everything with regard to Ukraine, the situation there in our team. So, you know, that's whoever has a contact to pass. So it's good that we put that all together. Adriana Brechelke, I don't know whether Brehelke or Brechelke?
Yeah, it's Brehelke.
Brehelke.
Hello, everyone. I'm Adriana Brehelke from Poznań, Poland. I am a PhD student at the Faculty of Architecture in Poznań University of Technology, and I'm so glad to be here with you and have the opportunity to meet a wonderful community of the heritage women. It's really great idea to sharing the information. And even if I have recently started my adventure in the field of cultural heritage, it's 2 years, I would like to be actively involved in the promotion and spreading the, I don't know, knowledge or something like that. And yeah, I am concerned with the protection of architectural heritage and the field of dissonant heritage and post-war reconstruction, which is extremely and unfortunately current these days. And I have never expected that my topic will be so actual these days. It's really traumatic to me because, well, I have been reading a lot of memories from people, refugees by the World War II, and now we have the same situation. It's really hard for me to deal with this situation on my border, east border. So yeah, I just need to support the Ukraine, of course. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Let's stay in touch.
Thank you, Adriana, for being with us. And indeed, the Polish experience and the issue of dissonant heritage is something that is not just in eastern part of Europe, in all parts of Europe is an extremely and increasingly. We thought that, you know, at some point we can live happily ever after, but unfortunately we see that that sort of the fight for values and for civilization and for dialogue is never ending. And that's why these experiences from the past, we need to use them the best possible way. From Adriana, I'll go to Devashre. Am I pronouncing well? Devashre?
Yeah, Devashre, that's about right. Thank you. If I'm a little bit incoherent, it's a little bit late in the night. I'm currently in India. But it was really amazing to be a part of this space today. It was just so, I mean, I really appreciated a lot of words that we said about how being, you know, open is one of the ways that we navigate the space of heritage, cultural heritage, and how we really need to learn about other cultural heritages that we just never get around to. And this time, of course, this horrible time is a reminder of how that's even more crucial in this hour. I am otherwise based out of Germany. I'm currently a student and working on my master's thesis.
Where in Germany?
In a city called Cottbus.
Cottbus, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's an important place for bright students coming together and doing the master studies.
Yeah, it's been a very good experience. Of course, with COVID, it's been, I don't know what the normal experience would have been, but it's been, that's how we get to know about spaces and arenas like Europa, Nostra, and we get the opportunities to learn so much more. And I'm so grateful that I got to be a part of this space today. And I hope to stay in touch, keep trying to contribute as much from my end as I can. And really thank you to all the speakers who talked about everything. And even I loved the idea of facilitating coexistence. I think that phrase is going to stay with me for a long time. It was just really nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, and apology that it's so late at your, you know, but thank you for staying late with us, and thanks to Marie-Thérèse Albert. I think she's still teaching, a professor and in charge of the program in Cottbus. Your professor, so greetings to her, and I see that facilitating coexistence is something that we all loved, and we thank Araceli for sharing that with us. Who has not yet spoken? Camila, I still have Camila, Zoe, Maria Eugenia, and Paschalia, and Orpita. I want to hear and see everyone. Camila?
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Our trainee who is supporting the awards team.
Yeah, actually, first of all, I want to thank you all, because as an aspiring cultural professionals, to listen to your experiences and to whatever you have done throughout your career is the biggest inspiration for me. And I think that opportunities like this one really show much networking among women can really make the difference when it comes to like values and causes that have a huge importance, especially today for our European identity and European community. So actually from my side, it's just a really huge thank you to you all for your words.
Grazie Camila, and also for your contribution to our work. Who else do we have now? Orpita, I see Orpita. Chowdhury, is it how you say how?
Yeah, that's correct. So I'm actually very new to this field. I just started my master's at BTU Cottbus. So I'm currently in my first semester, and I have a bachelor in architecture, but I was really interested in the conservation field and interdisciplinary approaches in heritage. So I would like to really thank you for this session. I learned a lot about the practices going on in Europe and the experiences from other women. And I actually feel really inspired to pursue this career path in future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Orpita. And from which country or city do you come from?
Oh, I'm from Bangladesh. I'm currently in Chittagong. Yes.
Ah, how nice. Now that is super to know that we also have one of our sisters in Bangladesh. Who else? Let me see. Zoe, I think. Let me see. Zoe Poliveropoulou.
That's a big name. How could you spell it?
It's a short first name. But
no, thank you a lot for being there. Congratulations for this meeting. That's very nice to see young women to work so well about the heritage and generally for the culture. Thank you a lot.
And you speak from where? From Greece or from?
Yes, from Athens.
From Athens, okay.
Yes.
I see that, you know, our family, Greek family is
yes,
very large, and
yes.
we will build on that. We will build on that further. Yes, yes,
Thank you a lot.
Even thinking that, you know, like the hub in Krakow, that Athens might become the hub for Southeast Europe. So we are going to work on that together also with Lydia Karras and with Elliniki Etairia.
Thank you a lot.
Good, thank you, Zoe. And let me see, Orpita, Mariya Eugenia.
That would be me. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so this is my full name, but I'm most known as Mary.
Mary.
Yes, it's shorter. So yeah, I'm from Ecuador, but I'm currently living in Switzerland. I'm really happy to see many of you, Lorena. Yes, we collaborate together because of the Elucidare project. I work at the University of Cuenca in Ecuador, and I've been collaborating also with universities in Belgium because I had the opportunity to do my studies there, and now I'm really happy to see how. In a way, the community of women are also well represented and working for the conservation of heritage. I think most of us have the opportunity to see what's going on in both sides of the world, at least, and the diversity that I see, I like, and every time it's better to construct and to build more networks to protect what we consider heritage for all of us. So I'm really happy, and I know some of the people here also because we've shared some spaces because of Elucidare and because of other projects. So I'm looking forward also to work more with some of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, as you say.
Yes.
And great to have also our outposts. Also, not outpost. You are in the center as much as we are in Ecuador, and I think we have the last one we haven't yet heard is Paschalia Bora.
Hello, everyone.
Marlene, and Marlene also. Paschalia Bora.
Do you hear me?
We hear you, but we can't see you.
Sorry, I'm from my cell phone and I don't know how that works exactly with the camera. So, I'm Paschalia Bora. I'm a heritage student. I study art law and art management in the Hellenic University in Greece. But currently I'm in Germany to see family and museums. And I would like to thank you all for this. It is a great opportunity. I admire all these women. It's really great to see so many women working in heritage. And also I would like to say about the situation in Ukraine. It's something really sad, and all the people from all the countries have to be respected for the cultural heritage and their identity. Thank you all again. Thank you all.
Thank you, Paschalia, and we keep in touch. And the last one, if she's behind her screen, Marlene. Marlene. Is she there? Or perhaps she has left. No, there is no one behind Marlene. So I think, thank you so much. It's 7:23. Thank you for the ones who stayed until the end, but I think many stayed almost towards the end. Ciao, Erminia. Erminia has to leave us, and I think we will all close this. It's difficult to leave each other. I think it feels so. I think in these difficult times we feel better when we are together. So Thank you for participating. Thank you for the wonderful women who organized this gathering. And I really feel that the movement is going, and not only going, it's becoming stronger and stronger. We have a lot of challenges ahead of us. We have an immediate also challenge to see how all together we can provide some comfort and support to our sisters and brothers in Ukraine. But more generally, I think if we work together, our voices will be stronger, and we will continue to move mountains. So thank you for each of you, and collectively. And let's remember yet another quote from Araceli: "Heritage is everyone." So it's about us, and it's about our Europe, but it's also about our planet. So I wish you a good evening, and let's stay in touch.